Hi guys, welcome back to another P3D version 5 video. So we're moving away from X-Plane 12 back to P3D, the main sim as I like to call it. And we are today going to be flying the Pilot's B314. So the Boeing B314 to be exact, and it's quite an interesting aircraft. Based on Wikipedia, the full name is actually Boeing 314 Clipper. Not know if we can trust Wikipedia exactly, but that's what the Wikipedia article is named. And and according to it, it was an American long-range flying boat that was produced between 38 and 41, kind of nicely coinciding with the start of World War II for the US, or at least with the US entry into World War II. And it was one of the largest aircraft of its time. It had ranged across the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans. And what else? It was the first aircraft to carry a sitting American president. So when Franklin D. Roosevelt flew from Miami to the Casablanca Conference in 1943. So that's interesting. But yeah, not that many were built. It's a pretty beautiful aircraft. Very unique. This is just directly from the Wikipedia page. But quite a nice look. I think all of them have unfortunately been lost to different accidents. It wasn't used for particularly long, 38 to 51, and yeah, so a very interesting one. And I think they also had an updated version, the B314A. I don't have that add-on yet, but I'll probably get it if I do kind of like flying this one. Not sure yet. I've done some test flights and it seemed pretty okay, but haven't flown a lot. Let me see. It does look, yeah, so the introduction of the 314A was Pan American, and there was some reliability issues I think was fixed by switching out the engines. But yeah, that's not relevant for us. We're flying the normal 314, and we are going to do a very short hop, just in the kind of take into account that I don't have that much time, and usually the flights with this aircraft would be long, right? Transatlantic, which is pretty cool. But we won't do that. We'll be flying from Baltimore to New York. So we're flying from the Baltimore Municipal Seaport or Airport, which has been demolished a long time ago. But there was a nice file on AvSim library that at least added some, well, I guess a little, not a bridge, but a little, what's it called? Let me see the English word. Jetty wharf. Yeah, I guess we could call it that. But maybe, yeah, this tiny little floating bridge thingy. And we are gonna fly up to Port Washington Seaport. And I'll show you actually my flight plan little nav map. It's based on the flight plan that comes with that actually comes with the aircraft. Or not with the aircraft, sorry, with the seaports that I downloaded from AvSim library. So it's a bit interesting in the sense that it goes across land. I'm not sure if it usually, I mean, this is based on a real route, so it could be that they went over land, because this is quite close to potential landing zones, so that's fine. But I think usually you would want to go over the sea, right? Because then it can kind of nicely get down and land, since it's what do you call it, amphibious plane, a seaplane. But yeah, so we'll be going up north here with a course of 59 to 275 ING. We're gonna put that in actually, so our first fix is ING. I'm putting it here on my flight pan Excel that I'm doing separately. ING with a 275 fix. We are doing a course of 59, and we'll do an altitude of let's try 8,000 feet. It's an unpressurized aircraft, this one, so you don't fly that high. And then after that we're doing a course of 85, and or actually 77. This waypoint is a bit unnecessary, to be honest. I'm gonna remove it. So we're doing actually a 79 course to Ogi. Let me see, what was this one? This was Ing, and next one is Ogi. So we're flying ADF, and actually to be very correct, the aircraft wasn't equipped to fly with ADF because it's such an old one, but there was this, I think, RDF system. So the aircraft kind of used ADF to resemble that system, which existed before, which I think makes sense. I mean, makes sense, or in the sense that, you know, you're making the most of what you can with the sim. And it was 79 was the course, and we'll do 8,000 altitude for that one. And then the last one is to the FR. I mean, a bit of an unnecessary one, but we'll fly to it. So 407. That's also NDB. And that's FR. I think it's at least then. And we'll be flying a course of, I think it's following the aircraft. Let me see if I can remove that. Probably here somewhere, but can't see it as of now at least. But yeah, we're gonna be flying a course of 68 and then 302. So 68, we can probably go down a bit, let's say 2,000 feet for the last part. And what was it after? It was 68 and then it was 302. So 302, and that's to the airport itself. But we want to be landing actually from the opposite side, so we're going to do 32, we'll do a visual, and I guess we're going to come in here and land and then get to the port. I think it's this one, based on what I can based on the flight plan, right? So it should be located here. I'm actually going to check quickly if I put it right in my... Yeah, almost correct actually. Because I have this Google Maps with all my airports saved, right? So I know where I can fly or where I've updated stuff. I haven't actually checked if it is kind of nicely added there, but we'll hope. So yeah, that's the plan. We're not going to fly with Pack X or any ATC, so we're basically just going to get started. I've loaded it up around 45% on the fuel, so I think that should be enough. We have the modern startup cheat sheet that we can use to get everything started up. But before actually we jump into the cockpit, just have a look at this. It's a beauty. Pilots have done a really great job with this aircraft. It looks very nice. I don't have anything bad to say. Just looking at the external model, it's very nice. We have some different viewpoints. Actually, I'm gonna update those as we are going through them, so we don't have the weird transition effect. Not that it's bad on its own, but it just cuts through the aircraft in a weird way. But yeah, look at this beauty. Very magnificent. You also have some of the interior modeled, but on a much less detailed level. But you can see that it must have been a very kind of nice thing back in the 30s, 40s, and early 50s to fly on this, even though it wasn't pressurized. I mean, it's huge, a lot of space, double-decker, right? So a very, very spacious aircraft, in other words. Let's jump in then. The cockpit also looks good, maybe not as good as the outside, but then again, can't imagine that the sources, since we don't have the actual aircraft, right? I think they have all sunk to the bottom of the sea, if I'm not mistaken. So that one isn't available, but at least we have this one, and it does look pretty good, I must say. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. Some nice PBR effects on the inside. You can really see that this aircraft that was supposed to be flown with a lot of people. Here you can see some of the routes. So here we have the Baltimore, New York one, Bermuda, right? Go up to Newfoundland, and one stop I think in Canada. So this is actually super cool that they have included this map for the Atlantic route. I'm not sure if the other one has different ones. Maybe the Hawaii clipper has another one for the oceanic routes. And yeah, look at this. This is the radio operator. I mean, Remington typewriter. I mean, this is cool. And here's where we put in the ADFs. Hopefully, I'm doing it right. We'll find out as we start flying. Actually, if we're doing it right. It's gonna be a bit hard to jump back and forth, but I do think we have some nice. And let's actually remove the effect of the transition here, just to make it go a bit quicker as we move through the different viewpoints. Some of these are a bit unnecessary, but we won't change them now because they are pretty useful, some of them at least. If we jump back though, here you can also see, I think, is it that one? Shouldn't there be like a hole? Maybe it's that thing for like the sextant, you know, looking out with the stars, reading that. Because I assume they would have used that system. I know they used some sort of boat system, so they would have boats placed out that would work as some sort of beacon, which is pretty cool, I must say. And let me actually see if we jump quickly back to the normal seating. I think there's supposed to be a 2D view which has some. I'm just gonna check quickly if we have any sort of options or similar load sheet that I can. But the 2D views work quite well. It's just that my screen is so big, right? When it's 3 different screens joined into one. Because there's supposed to be some further options. Flight plan, flight. I wonder if it's this one, but then maybe I'm just not seeing it. Oh well. Not the end of the world. Here we actually have, I found this one. So you can see all of the settings. I'm not gonna use this one. It's quite hard to read with it's very kind of old school looking. But it's good to know that you have those. So you just, you know, flip open the 2D ones, have a look, etc. I'm not gonna say I'm very well versed at this aircraft. I've done startups, I've done some short flights, just back and forth, just checking it out, testing the autopilot. So I think I should be able to command it. I'm not gonna say I know the fuel system that well, but it's a short flight, so hopefully we don't have to tweak with it or even play around with it whatsoever. But let's see. For those of you who do long haul, I very much suggest that you look into it. There is some good manuals. They have one that's called like the aircraft, a lot of interesting history, the fate of the clippers, service records. So very interesting. And then the aircraft itself, here it's showing the RDF, the different ones. That would be, or the weather ships map. Very interesting. A different world back then. Interesting though how the map is modern. You even have Montenegro down here. So yeah, that's interesting. But otherwise the map looks very old. But yeah, let's get started. Let's get up in the air and see how this one works. And hopefully you will at least you know, maybe want to try this one out. It's a bit expensive, but it's on sale from time to time. So here we have the battery master contactor, and I've added, which I said already in my explain latest video, I've added back these kind of tooltips because they just help so much with certain aircraft where you can't really see what you're doing without this information, even if it breaks the immersion a bit. Okay, I'm gonna check that the ADF is correctly set up. 284, it's telling me, so that's not a good sign. Gonna quickly check here if there's something. it should be 275. Let me see if I try to tweak it. So 275 on my hardware, that is. Not sure if it's gonna work, but we'll notice once we get up in the air. But yeah, the battery's on. And then we wanna set the fuel tanks. So first one should have the port tank. This one should have 1 and 2 on. This one should have the starboard tank. 3 and 4 on. And these can be as is. There's quite some interesting operations with the fuel tanks, how they're drained, etc. But yeah, I am not too well versed. This is also pretty cool. So you can go into the wing itself. So that's very dope actually. Not sure if it would be for maintenance or what type of purposes. Yeah, you can see there's a caution, but I guess there's some reason, maybe to, you know, if there's a fire, to use the fire extinguisher, for example. I have the same on the other side. And basically now it's just about starting it all up. We are gonna do the coal flaps. I'm actually gonna quickly check. So these are the manifold pressures. We can put them up so they're a bit ready for when we're gonna start the engines. All the coal flaps can go up or in the open position. And then the fuel cutoff guard should be set to off. Let me see which one they're actually talking about. I think all of these are correctly set up. Yeah, it's set to dynamometer, so that's correct, or dynamotor, so that's good. So 1, 4, 2, 3 is the starting order of the engines. And I think the way you start them, and you know, this might not be correct, but you should like crank them. We're just gonna jump over that and get everything going quickly. So I just do master on, actually 1, and booster, that to both. And then we are doing, I think it's full rich. So you have cruise lean and the full rich. And then you crank the pump, the hand pump. And, oh sorry, the primer actually. So now we have the hand pump. And then you can see that the oil pressure is rising. We want to wait for the oil temp to get into the green band before we do anything more. You can see it here on the outside. Let's switch the view a bit. And I think we'll be going out here and then taking off. I think that will be the easiest. But yeah, look at that. Looking very nice. The one thing though, before we start the rest, we're actually gonna put on the nav lights as well. And we'll put on the pitos just so I don't forget to do that. Easier said than done. Is that how do you follow the ADF from here? So I think we actually have to jump back and forth. We can basically only follow the specific heading, which we will of course try to do, but let's see. So the order was 1, 4, 2, 3. So let's remember that. And let's go and do the next steps. I'm just thinking if there's anything else we need to do, but I don't think so. So what we'll do next is we'll do number 4. that is looking good. We can actually, just to save ourselves some time, we can put all of these to auto ridge. And then we need, let me just see, is it starting? Yeah, engine number 4 is coming alive. And we'll do the rest pretty quickly, just to get things rolling. And then it was 2 and then 3, right? So we'll do engine number 2. Look at that, looking very nice. You can see the cowl flaps being fully open. And then we'll do a number, let me see, I think it's number 3, right? That's the only one that we haven't done yet. Yeah, it's on, but the primer, yeah, that should also go on. And then this. And you can see number 1 and number 4 already looking pretty good with the temps. Here maybe they can rise a bit on the oil in, but otherwise, yeah, looking good. And let me just see, I think that's it. Can't see anything here. We want to be on the left channel. Just this one, right? You can of course put this one as well to 275. Have both these receivers on. And I think that's about it. Let's check quickly though the manual, if there's anything we're missing. Doesn't look to be. Okay, so takeoff can be done without the wing flaps. But maybe we can lower them a bit. Free to trim angles, we found to be the best trim angle. So you don't want to force the plane above 70 knots. Yeah, not too much information that we need to consider as of now. I don't think I'm a bit worried about this ADF, but we should be able to do it kind of visually anyway, just by following the right route. I am, let me see, I'm gonna close my Discord just in case that takes up any unnecessary frames per seconds. And what we'll do next is put on the landing lights. This is all looking good. We can put on the taxi lights as well. For the autopilot, I think that's to engage, and we wanna, I think, pressurize the gyros for the autopilot. It's a bit annoying that you can't move these handles, but yeah, not the end of the world. So this is supposed to give some lighting, but I can't see it too much better. Yeah, not sure how good it is actually. Could though be if there's anything. Is it back here maybe? Let me go just quickly back to the engineering station. I'm not sure actually. Port nacelle, I think that could be lighting related, but could be that it's not. But yeah, looks good. Cowl flaps, we gotta handle all of these. Carburetor, Actually, now that I think of it, where's the carburetors on this one? Because that might be something we want to actually do. Make sure that it's correctly set up. So I'm quickly gonna check. So prop de-ice, engine anti-ice, and prop de-ice. Okay, so there's the prop de-ice, which I think was in the front panel. And what's this one? Cylinder temp selector off. Carb air selectors. Okay, we'll see a bit. Like I said, it's probably not going to be perfect, but it will be a good test flight, this one, and just to showcase the aircraft itself. We have parking brakes set, which I'm going to presume are these, so let's see when we release if those go away. I don't think you can see them from the cockpit though. Yeah, you can see it's a bit of the aircraft is missing, like it usually is with the P3D models. If we do trim, the question is of course if you can see that. I can't see it now. These are actually at 0. So I'm wondering if we also need the other one. Let's see once we get up in the air. Maybe I missed something. This is the shore power contactor, so you can also have that connected. Just good to be aware of. Okay, I'm gonna release the parking brakes, and that seems to have released those things. And let's see, we're gonna try to get out of the harbor, so we're adding a bit of manifold pressure. And first off on the flight today is a course of 59. Are we moving at all? Maybe we'll need a bit more. We're a big heavy plane. I'm adding a bit of flaps. You can see here the flap indicator. I'm gonna use the rudder. I don't think there's really... I think some of the earlier versions had like a specific water rudder. Not sure if it's mimicked here. Okay, let's see now. We are moving, albeit slowly. Trying to just not get stuck on the ground. I mean, technically we could kind of immediately take off here, right? I mean, it wouldn't be wrong. The question I have is, is it enough? It might be safer to take off a bit towards, I guess, to the left from here. Okay, I'm gonna slow down a bit. I don't wanna gather too much speed already. We're already over 50 knots. Well, I mean, technically, yeah, let's do it. Let's push it. Bit worried about pushing the aircraft too hard, but I mean, should be doable. I think we have enough room here to do it properly. So we're gonna take off. We're above 80 now. I'm gonna push back on the yoke a bit just to see if it's enough. We should soon have enough to climb, or that's the hope at least. There we go. Okay, so we're no longer in the water. We are climbing, but slowly. Gonna trim a bit. Does it have any effect, the trim? Maybe a bit. Removing the flaps. But we're up in the air. And we're quite heavy, right, for this short leg. So that's something to be aware of. We'll turn to the right. Maybe we had a bit too much flap. I think it's like a percentage system in real life, but since so kind of like EL2 Sturmovik's flap system, but since B3 doesn't really simulate that, it's done in D10s. Okay, we're climbing. We don't need the taxi lights. I think we can keep the, let me see, instrument lights. Does this make a difference? No, can't really. Instrument lights masters, which you would think that makes a difference, but oh well. Okay, we're climbing a bit hard, a bit not hard, but a bit steep. So I'm gonna put it down a bit. I do wanna, it's a bit fickle, this one. So let's see, we do wanna turn. We actually do want to slow down a bit. The question I'm wondering, yeah, the manifold pressure with the RPMs, how do we get? Let's go to the yellow so we don't push this aircraft too much. And let's see actually with the autopilot how we can so gyropilot or autopilot. You can choose between caged or uncaged, and we want to keep it at caged. And now we're flying quite fast. And we've actually turned a bit too much, but that's fine. We want to come back over kind of the airport. So let me see now, because we want to get those. So I'm adding the autopilot. And now we're seeing the PSI increase on both the elevator and the aileron, so that's good. And we wanted to fly, let me see, it was 5.9, so a bit to the left. Oh. Yeah, that's a bit odd. So it does have some bugs, the autopilot system. It could have been that it engaged when it went to 100% because I have this one, right? So I almost got us all killed. But yeah, so yeah, don't do that. My problem was I thought this was the one that would. Oh, look at that! It went to 0 now. Okay, that's interesting. Let's bring that on. I'm gonna push down again. Let's see. And then we want this one, so it's gonna take a bit of time for it to. We wanna keep an up pitch up. So let me see now. Okay, so we're still waiting for the autopilot to get going. It's now flying as it should. We want to cage that. And we're climbing a bit too steeply, so yeah. So yeah, the aircraft was doing what it was supposed to do. It was just I who was mistreating it. So we're changing the pitch here. Yeah, it's a very rudimentary autopilot, and you need to keep that in mind, or I need to do it. But my word of caution. You can probably bring these down a bit. GT is down. Let's have a look in front how it's going. Yeah, looking okay. The RPMs are a bit on the edge, so that's why I wanna see if we can bring them down further actually. Let's do 80. See how that goes. Yeah, that should be fine, I hope. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, it's looking a bit better now. We can probably push a bit more on the manifold. We're still climbing, coming up on 3,000 feet. We're getting higher, so it's gonna look better soon, the ugly photo reel that I've created. It's only lot 14, so that's the main issue, to be honest. Okay, let's see. We can probably bring this down a bit. Don't want to force too much of a climb rate. In terms of the ADF, let's check actually if we have any luck with that. The question, or one thing that could be worth checking, is the range, right? So it's a 26 nautical mile. No, actually it's longer than that. It's almost 70 nautical miles, and the range of the ADF receiver is 25. So that's good to keep in mind. So we won't get any inputs for a while. I'm actually gonna check the clipper, just the input on the cruising altitude. Okay, now I found what the issue is. So, for having power for the ADF switches, we need to go here. Wait, no, sorry. We need to go to this one. Okay, maybe we don't need to switch that, but here. So radio transmitter power switch and radio receiver power switch. And here we have the prop de-icer, so that's good to know. Engine fire extinguisher. We can have a look at the values. They are looking okay. Manifold maybe a bit high on the RPMs. So we do, I mean, yellow is fine, I guess, in climb. I hope, but could be that it's not. So let's see. But yeah, it's not gonna be too long of a journey, this one. We are slowly making our way up to our cruising altitude of 8,000 feet. I'm gonna check actually the altitude. So 10,000 feet, yeah, because it's unpressurized. But yeah, look at this beauty. It's a very nice looking aircraft. the Yankee Clipper, Pan American Airways. Now this is the golden age of aviation, right? When we were trying new things. Could you imagine like a world without, or let's say that the seaplanes really hit off, so you wouldn't have the same need for airports. You would basically just have seaports. Huge aircrafts like this would have been an interesting, like a steampunk kind of thing. Okay, let's get this down to 75, I think. Okay, let's see, 76. Are we having any luck getting it lower than 76? Yeah, this one has gone. Come on, buddy, get down. There we go. That should be good enough. So we are getting closer to getting it in the green band. We're now getting into the cloud layer. So the problem with that is, of course, that if we can't get above the cloud layer, we might have to climb higher than 8,000. Let's see, I think we can climb a bit faster. I'm gonna push it a bit, the engines. I don't think these have any like superchargers or similar. Could be wrong. Actually here we have prop increase and prop decrease. I'm wondering if these need to be synced though. So yeah, maybe a bit dumb of me, but at least you know where they are on the engineer panel. So it wasn't totally in vain. Okay, we are getting these RPMs down. And now we're looking to be in the green band apart from engine 1. And why is that? Is it because it wasn't aligned? I'm gonna have a look quickly here in the back of the aircraft and just check what engine 1 is at. 70, 60, 60. Okay, let's align it with the rest of them. Okay, that's good, I think. They are synced, I guess. What are the values here looking? Okay, they are looking okay. We might want to close maybe a bit more these cowl flaps. I really like that you can see it here. It makes it much easier to know at where they're at, so to speak. Okay, there we go. I don't want to push the manifold too much. Okay, seems like we're out of the weather again. I didn't do a weather or check for the weather, but it could be problematic, of course. Should have done a check. But we'll just hope it's fine, you know. Back in the olden days, we flew based on feeling, not based on what the weather report told us. Nah, but I think even back in these days they would have called, you know, gotten the weather from some local guy in New York. And I mean, they did have weather stations, right? So they would at least be able to get a pretty good report, specifically for New York, I would assume. Okay, we're climbing. Let's raise it a bit. Manifold. I do feel like we are losing a bit of our speed. Maybe we're climbing too fast. We'll do 2.4. Let's see if that's good or too much. Seems to be okay. And actually one thing we need to check is if we are getting any signals yet from our ADF. Nothing as of yet. Now I haven't really had any clock or similar to check. We don't have any DME. But basically what we know is that we're going northeast. It's gonna be around Philly, right? Let's check a little nav map. I mean, it's basically a bit of cheating with the little nav map, giving us the input. I can see I'm a bit off course based on it, so we should probably slightly tweak it. But yeah, so around Philly, that's when we should be turning right. But that assumes that we can see that we are over Philly. And now it's raining. And I think this one doesn't have any water or rain effects, which is a bit of a bummer. I don't know why, like when you have P3D aircraft, why you didn't add that. You know, even something basic. Hell, even the Coronado ADR-22 has that, so that's a bit of a con. Specifically when you're flying this sort of an aircraft that flies a bit low, that would be cool. Okay, let's have a look again. What's the... guess there could theoretically be icing risk with the rain. I might have lowered it a bit too much, the RPM 1, so I'm gonna actually go and raise it a bit, see if it works for all the... And now I'm hearing the ADF, so that's good news. The next route will be 69 nautical miles, and we'll be starting to descend on that one. It also has 25 nautical miles of a range, so yeah, not the best. Let me have a look here, and yeah, we can see that we are getting to it. Not too much other information. In case I don't want to listen to that, is there any way to shut it up? Because we're receiving it. We want to keep that on, of course. Actually, I'm very interested. Okay, that's interesting. So it's kind of following my built-in, or not built-in, but the hardware ADF. That's interesting. But where is it? Don't they have any switches for kind of what they're listening to? There must be something. If I want to shut it off, because I don't want to listen to ADF beeps. So where do you turn it off? Let's play around for fun. Okay, we don't want to turn that off. Channel 2 we can keep off. We can though prepare channel 2 for the next one. 414. 414. I get it. Let's go to the front, check if we have any more settings here, what we can choose to listen to, slash not listen to. Speed is looking fine. Here we go, radio. No. Doesn't say what those are for actually, so maybe don't wanna press those unnecessarily. There must be some form of, and actually let me see, what's this? Water rudder. Okay, so we do have that. So that's something to keep in mind. My miss actually. That's why you need to really like play around with this aircraft. You're always gonna find something you have missed from before. Does this lamp work? Yeah, it does, but doesn't really see a difference. Do 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 do. Okay, still in front of us. That means there's still some time before we need to start turning right. We are still climbing, albeit slowly. I think we're a bit off actually on our, we want to go directly to it, right? But based on this, it's a bit more to the right. So I'm gonna, it's probably a bit of a wind. So I'm changing the heading a tiny bit. Let's see if it worked with the hardware one. Okay, so we don't want to do that one, we want to do this one. Yeah, this one can control the hardware one, but the hardware one can't control it, so that's something to be aware of. We can change here a bit how fast the reaction speed is, something to be aware of. Okay, that's cool. Some passenger signal. What else do we have? But yeah, nothing to shut off that ADF beeping. I'm gonna check actually if there's any input on. There is a support forum on AvSim, right? So I'm just checking quickly if they have any input on the aircraft. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna jump quickly outside perspective just to see how it looks. We are close to Philly, we can see that, so we're probably gonna be turning very shortly to our heading of, we should actually be looking here before we do our turn, which is gonna go to a course of 79. So we might actually want to turn a bit more. So once this starts going back, that's when we should be turning. Hard to know, of course, how far away we are. Okay, now we're maybe turning a bit too much to the right. So we're going to 64. But yeah, so far so good actually. Very nice to do the ADF flying. Not gonna lie. And it's a treat to just kind of check the engine gauges, you know, it does feel like you're more flying in a way. Actively being. I guess the only thing that beats it is not using the autopilot. But yeah, I'm still wondering about that beeping. I don't like it. Gives me a minor headache. Oh, here we have engine synchronization. Yeah, let's do... sorry, so this one will probably help. I'm gonna check if they... so that's 65, 77... 77, 76. Okay, that's very interesting. Is the problem that when you're using the front one, it's basically changing all of them apart from... Huh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna add a bit. Oh, we can't add any more manifold pressure. Okay, let's check actually. Yeah, if someone knows how to stop the beeping, which button to press, let me know. This one must be cool to fly, like night flying. Not gonna lie, that must be dope. Okay, based on I'm gonna show you a little nav map just so you see. We are kind of nice, you know, we were a bit off. But you know, okay, apart from our little almost drop to death scare. And we're almost halfway, so that's good news. The landing will be the easiest part. Now I just need to figure out how to shut the radio. That one, right? It must be that one. If we've managed to do this, I'm gonna be so happy. So far so good. We don't need to hear the identifier. But it's good though. It's one way to know that you have captured the right one, right? So basically this one would be beep 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 beep, something like that. God. Let's actually check it just for fun if it actually aligns to that. So I'm gonna put on the identifier again. I'm gonna put this one up. So now we have the identifier on. So let's see, is it beep 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 beep? Yeah, it was the right one. Amazing. That's you know, such a small thing, but it's really cool. And now we're flying over Philly. No, sorry. Yeah, close to Philly. There's Philly. So we're a bit further inland. And basically we can already see, I think, that the ADF was going a bit to the right. Which it's gonna increasingly do. So basically what we can start doing is start turning right to our new heading of, let me double check, 79. And we need to turn a bit more, because we've seen that, you know, we're not really following. The wind is having an effect, so we're doing 8-3. And we can just see that when we are gonna be leaving, that as long as we get this one kind of on our back, 180 degrees away from 79, then we're flying correctly, right? But let's see, what did we put? Did we put 8-3? Maybe if we're going more into the wind, we don't need to be as crazy. 8-1 might be sufficient. Oh, and what about our altitude actually? Let's not climb higher just for the sake of it. So we are getting closer, and we might want to actually decrease our prop. So now we are almost. Okay, let's see. 63, 62, 60, 61, 60. And one thing I do want to check is here in the back. We can close this ones a bit more. We can change to a leaner mixture, and okay, values are looking okay-ish. One thing we did want to check was this one. Is it aligned 60%? 72, 72, 72. So still some discrepancies. Interesting. Okay, let's see now. We're almost at 8,000, so I'm soon gonna put in the hold mode, which I think we do with this one, but let's see when I press it. Now it's on autopilot mode. Yeah, we don't want to press that one. Okay, so keep it on autopilot mode. We want to cage that. And we're gonna want to lower this one a bit. We'll do pitch 2 up. Now let's have a look if we can see anything here. Yeah, but it's kind of at the back now, so 180. That is good. So we can change also this one to 4. And now it's actually changing my hardware one, so that's good to see. It's probably related to this one not being on in the beginning. Okay, let's have a look in the front, see if we are okay in terms of speed. I'm a bit worried the speed is coming down, and it's the engine 1 that's I think being a bit too weak. We want to increase the up to 72, I think. I don't want to feather anything. What's this pump? Ring tank refueling hand pump. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see now, we're still climbing. I want to avoid that. So we're gonna put it down to 1.5, see if that makes a difference. Okay, let's see. And we're gonna be on this around 70 nautical miles, and then we have 22, and then we have 10. So there's a few steps remaining. Still flying a bit over land, but we're quite close to the water. Not close enough that we would make it if our engines shut out. Or maybe there's some water down here that we could. No, probably not. But there's a little bit of a small pool, I guess. Let's see, we're still not getting the elevate, the pitch. We're still pitching up. Okay, let's get this down. Maybe 0 is what we need. I'm still seeing weird manifold pressure on the engine 1. Did I just put it on the wrong cruise? 75, 76, 74. Nothing that I can see. This one is closed a bit further than the rest, so that might explain some fluctuations. Engine 1 and 3 are showcasing some. Let's have a look here. Looks okay. Oil pressure. Fuel quantity is looking fine. So yeah, apart from seeing some weird. Okay, let's have a look actually here. We have some that are. Let's actually push all of them. That might have been the issue. Yeah, now we're gonna probably see a bit of a faster flying. How's the rest looking? I think we can probably remove the landing lights at this point. Wait a bit until we put them on again. I'm gonna actually quickly read the manual for the landing just to see if there's anything that I missed when I read through some of the manual the last time. Flying the Clipper. So step landings may be made with full flap angle more easily and almost as slowly as stalled landings. Oh, you can flood certain compartments. Interesting. Like propellers in low pitch for the taxiing. That's interesting. Okay, that's very cool. We're not gonna do all of that. This manual is very interesting though. I really love this. This shows a lot of kind of work from the developer's side, so I'll give them a lot. I mean, the only critique I basically have from P3T perspective is no rain effects, and the fact that try to think what else. No, but I think that's basically it. It's a good aircraft. Still nothing showing up, so that's not the best sign, but we are still far away. I can see that we're going a bit off course on Google map. It's a bit cheating, but let's put us back on the correct heading. We should have checked the wind, of course, taking that into account, but you know. So a beat, we'll be flying straight across JFK, so that's pretty cool. I think we can already start thinking about descending actually. We're almost at 9,000. We have about, I think once we get the beeps from the next ADF or NDB beacon, then we can start descending. Yeah, I need to fix these viewpoints. Some of these are very unnecessary. Let's see if I can do that now since we have some time. We don't really need to look at any kind of approach chart or similar. So the overhead one, unnecessary. There's no point. Standard one. I would say this one is fine. It's a more zoomed in one. Full panel is unnecessary. Lower panel is also unnecessary. I would say though a autopilot one isn't too wrong, so we can update that one. Engine controls is not unnecessary. Let's see what we have here. Cruise lean, fuel cutoff. Interesting. Oh. So let's say I want to do cruise lean. What does this entail? This entails going to 40%. Okay. So a bit different. Let's go back to the one we were at. I think that should help with the speed. So we can keep this just because, you know, you can see the trims, the rudder trim, aileron trim. That's pretty good. This one is very unnecessary. It's just a battery switch. It's not wrong, but it's unnecessary. Engine control is important, so we'll keep that one. Hand pump, we can just use the engine control for that. What I want actually instead is for a radio operator. So something like this is gonna be, I think, pretty cool. So we'll put that for the hand pump preset. Fuel selectors, that's a good one. Rear panel is a fine one, but let's do that. Radio, oh, we had a radio panel, so we can just skip the lower panel, to be honest. No, sorry, hand pumps, the hand pump panel we can skip. So we'll remove that. The nav table, I think we can keep it, but I'm not sure if it has any purpose. But that's just from my own. This must be where you would use the sextant thingy. There is something available for P3, but I haven't had a look at it yet. Yeah, look how much faster we're flying now. So I wasn't really being, or really using the mixture correctly. It's gonna probably be a bit stuttering once we get closer to New York, but let's see what we get. Look at these engines. Beautiful aircraft. Interesting logo, that one as well. What does it say? Boat... Boeing. Boeing. Yeah, Boeing. That's, oh god. Boat, I was like... some weird, but it's Boeing. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably one of the older logos. Don't see that too much. We should soon be getting a... Here we go. And now we can see that we are hearing that. We can double check that we're getting the right one. It should be small beeps twice, large, small. So let's listen for it again just to make sure we're actually getting that. Here we have, sorry, this is the one, OG. Yeah, it does sound like it's the correct one. Let's listen one more time. So 5, and then small. That should tell us. Yeah, it does sound correct, I think. Not a specialist, but I think it sounds fine. We have now started hearing the beeps, so it's time to get down. We are gonna force this plane down to some lower altitudes. Nothing crazy, but we'll get the bird down. Should also enable us to have some nice views of New York. Very nice looking scene. I'm not sure if this is my own ortho or if this is one of the, because this is not Delaware, New Jersey. This might actually be Mega Scenery. I think I might have gotten New Jersey from them. So that's why it looks much better. In hindsight, I should have gotten everything from FS Scenery because they have beautiful autogen. And actually, good point. I'm gonna check if there's been any update from FS Scenery because they're making a version 2 for Sweden and Finland. Aha! They are not available. God damn it! I was hoping. Let me go and check. Yeah, so upgrade to version 2 is in progress. I really hope for that. But okay, so they have a sail, so it's all very... And actually I'm gonna turn off the beeping now. Sorry about that. Gotten so used to it, so I haven't even thought about it. Did I turn it off, or did I fail? Yeah, now we have it off. Both of those. No? Did I put it on? Oh god. Off. Off. Okay. There we go. Yeah, you can get all of Canada, for example, for 100 USD. That would be dope. How big is it? Let me check. It doesn't really say though. I hate that fact because I would want to know. So for example, Alberta is 82 gigabyte. Jesus Christ. That's a big... That's too big, man. I need a huge SSD if I'm gonna start buying these FS scenery ones. They look beautiful though. So you can't complain. I mean, look for example at Yukon. Looks very nice. I mean, it's worth it if we compare to the other options out there, just because the autogen is so good, the placement. But yeah, it takes a lot of gigabytes. Gonna add a bit more thrust. We are descending. We are descending very slowly, so I'm gonna actually force ours down a bit faster. So we're coming up on New York, so we're gonna be landing reasonably soon. We actually already, I think, want to change the second channel to the next one, the FR1, which is gonna be 407. Look at that, it's already getting the signal from both of them. Let's see how long it is. 25 nautical miles, so same length. Interesting. Now let's check how our descent is going. It's going faster, but I still don't think it's enough. So I'm gonna force this one down more. And I'm gonna actually pull back a bit on the throttles. I'm also gonna put on the landing lights since we are getting into busy airspace. I think the photo will should be pretty nice here with the Druzhevsky New York scenery. We won't really fly ahead of Manhattan. I mean, technically we could. It would be pretty dope to just do like a flyover, even though we wouldn't technically be following the ice, but we could actually do that to shorten the flight a bit, but we would have to get down a bit quicker. So I'm gonna pull back the thrust a bit more, decrease the manifold pressure. See if we can do 2.6 maybe pitch down. Maybe we can do 3 pitch down. Let's see if that's enough to get this. I can probably do 3.5. 4 maybe. Do we want to push it? I mean, just look at this with the boats, etc. Would be pretty nice to get a view of downtown New York, even though it's not as pretty as... I think the X-Plane one is pretty nice. And Microsoft Flight Sim is of course really nice with the Photogrammetry or whatever it's called. the enhanced photoreal, I guess we would call it. Okay, we are continuing to descend. Should probably have started much sooner, but you snooze, you lose. I'll increase our descent rate to 5. Still see no noticeable impact, and we can still pull back on the thrust a bit. So let's force to 6. Actually, I'm gonna read a bit quickly about the descent. If they have anything on that. Doesn't seem so. 62 knots is kind of the speed on with power on, flaps down where you would stall. So let's keep that in mind, so 62. Okay, and let's see, once we get over the next one we are gonna deviate from our flight plan. Be a bit devious. Just to get a nicer view, I think. It will be worth it. And I'm actually gonna quickly, let me see, I'm gonna remove some of these waypoints, and then I'm gonna add one kind of straight to New York. Can we add that? Add position to flight plan. Yeah, and then we wanna go to Port Washington. Add position to flight plan. Okay, we like that. Then we're gonna move. Okay, so we're gonna wanna fly on a outbound of 350 once we get to OG-ish. I'm gonna check quickly because we can skip the other one in that case. We don't need to know the reference to this one. So 414. Yeah, we're a bit off, I think. We wanna do 81 maybe. And we wanted to turn towards New York, so we can kind of do that now. It was around 350, I think, the heading. Let me just do it through this tool actually, so we don't. So we'll turn slowly. Looking pretty okay. 5,000 soon. I mean, it's gonna be water level, right? So 0 is what we're aiming for. So let's just continue going down further and further. We're landing somewhere at that point. So we can basically just follow the water here, and then we'll get to where we wanna go. Okay, still continuing 350, right? Something along those lines. It's not gonna be perfect now. You can see we're not really having that on the back, so we shouldn't have turned as steeply as we did. But if we wanna see the beautiful downtown New York, this is what we'll do. We're still descending. Coming down below, we're gonna put the taxi lights on as well. still have the flaps that we need to deploy, so let's keep that in mind. We're gonna want to increase the RPM, etc. Put it all back to the right mixture, etc. We can kind of do that already, I would say. Let's actually do that. So we want to go to full rich. And yeah, here's beautiful New York in P3D. Not shabby looking at all. But this is with the Druzhevsky, right? So it's a bit better. I still think Chicago is amazing what he did there. New York is pretty okay, but not nearly as beautiful. Pretty cool with the boats also going around here. Does add a bit to the immersion when you can't see any cars, but at least you can see boats. So it feels like the world is somewhat alive. And we are gonna want to turn here. Okay, we're below 4,000 now. So now we're just doing basically visual. The weather looks pretty nice as well, so don't complain. We're getting a lot of stuttering. So this aircraft is maybe not the best optimized in terms of FPS, but not the worst either. And yeah, there we have the one Empire State, whatever it's called. World Trade no, sorry, Empire State. World Trade Center. Empire State is, I think, a bit further down here, right? Or is it here? God, my geography isn't good enough. At least not the New York one. But yeah, a pretty nice view. Could have been a nice thumbnail, but I don't like, you can see really, it looks a bit dead, yeah. So I'm not too happy with the Druzhevsky. It's okay, it's not bad. This Manhattan is really nice, but the rest is, yeah, not really my forte. Okay, we'll continue turning. We can also actually start increasing the props pretty soon. Not sure, do we want to close completely? Or do we want to open the engine cowl flaps? I know on descent some suggest that you should really close them. Or maybe that's the standard procedure. Let's actually increase the prop now. We can bring it up to 90. Let's bring it up to full, just so we don't forget doing that. And let's then check that all of them are actually brought up to the full extent that they should be at. And we can continue turning. We can actually stop descending as quickly as we are. We're already coming down on 2,000 feet. One thing I haven't checked is the altimeter, but I don't think it matters that much when you're landing on water, right? So something to consider actually. And now, if I am correct, basically the airport, or sorry, the seaport that we're looking at should be in this. So we actually want to land here, somewhere around here, maybe in there, to be precise. So we're gonna just turn it a bit more, because we wanna have most, because we're just gonna make a quick turn at the end. I'm gonna now have a look here in the back, make sure that these are actually aligned. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. So that's good. I'm gonna open these a bit. Okay, all the values are looking good, so that's nice. So no complaints from my end. You can still bring down the manifold pressure a bit. And we can actually descend a bit more, I think. Yeah, gonna be an interesting look for all the people here below. But you can see what I mean, like with the autogen. I'm not sure if this is even covered by the Druzveki. Here we have the nice Imagine Sim LaGuardia. With some autogen errors. I really hate that part of P3D having to fix all of that. Okay, let's see. And the place we are aiming for is in here. We have that island that kind of tells us where we want to go. So I'm actually gonna start adding a bit of flaps. Increase the manifold pressure. Not sure if there's any limitation actually to when you can add the flaps. That's something that I recommend that should be checked, of course. We can kinda soon take over manual control, I would say. As we do that, we can, I think, remove these. So we're coming down now, we're below 1000. And the key is to kinda cross that island and then get down. Maybe down here and then turn. And land. We want to land close to where we want to be, right? So we don't have to tax it too much. Okay, adding a bit more thrust. Continuing to get those flaps down. We're almost completely down, so that's good. I think generally though, like doing this approach, I would assume that the real pilots would aim to fly more above the water, but I'm not sure actually. And I guess this would be a pit stop, right? So you'd stop here, then you would go to Canada, Newfoundland, and then all the way to Ireland and Southampton, right? I think that was the route. Okay, adding more thrust. Let's see if I use the trim. Can we see? Yeah, we can see it being used there. This should be good. I think this should be good. Let's see. Maybe a bit tight with the island here. And let's remember it was around 62 knots for stall speed. Let's just keep that in mind. We're still descending, so we do have some leeway in terms of getting not stalling, right? Almost full on the. Let me see. Do we have any speed brakes? No speed brakes. Probably not necessary. Okay, I'm gonna throttle down a bit because now we're gonna come down for landing. Still a bit high. Do we have enough? I think we have enough to land. Not sure though you would actually land into the kind of cove or whatever you want to call it. Maybe you would land out here just to make sure you have ample space to brake and stop. I've also increased my quality of the water just so it looks a bit nicer close by. It's a bit weird because basically high, maybe even medium could be sufficient flying close to the water, because as long as you're not close like this, you won't see a difference, right? It's basically going to be the same quality. Okay, but the water looks pretty good. We can see that there's some waves, nothing too bad. Don't wanna, I'm gonna float a bit here, just so we get past this little thing here. And then we can just kind of turn to the left. But look at this, this is very nice. Actually, it's very nice looking. Yeah, we can still let it float a bit, just above the water. We're not close to 62 knots. I'll slow down a bit. And we can start landing. Looks pretty good. Okay, so let's get this bird down. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, it's a bit fickle. Okay, I'm gonna slow down. And I think we want to use the water rudder, right? Let's see how it works. You can see it's quite effective. But yeah, there we go. Landing lights off. We can keep taxi lights on. And now we just need to find if the... Oh, and here's some... I think this is small boats from some event. Looks a bit funny though. We did land at the right place. The question is though, where is the... bridge? It should be here. I think it might be that one actually. So yeah, not the biggest addition. We'll avoid these, no clue what they're supposed to be. I think it's small boats, right, that are potentially islands. Let me have a look. No, it doesn't look to be. Okay, I'm gonna add more thrust. I think you wanna keep actually the low prop, but we're not gonna be messing around with that, because we just wanna get to the sea base, so we can close out for the night. Okay, we're getting some speed now. I do wonder where the water rudder is. It must be below here, so we can't really see it when you deploy it. I should have tried deploying it up in the air just to see how it looks. Okay, now we would need a lot of thrust to get this this boat moving, or flying boat. I guess the correct term. But now we're a boat. I'm gonna remove the flaps. The flaps can't be helping us. Yeah, as I thought, they're probably. Okay, we are moving, albeit slowly. But this was actually quite fun. It is a very well made aircraft, not gonna lie. Let's open the cowl flaps completely actually, just to make sure that we are on the ground. Or on the water. And let's get to the port. I'm not gonna be able to park perfectly, but we'll try. I don't think there's any point watching the replay for the landing, or maybe we could. It would be interesting to see how it looks actually with this aircraft. Oh, we need to slow down, so I'm gonna. Did we go? Oh yeah, because it thinks it's land, right? Because of those. Let's add the parking brake. Okay, pretty okay, I would say. And this is, I guess, the bridge, the area, right? So yeah, pretty nice freeware. I mean, the only addition is this little thing here, but that works. And in order to shut everything off, we can just, I think, be a bit lazy. Go with that on fuel cutoff. Close these ones. The master magnetos. And there we go. So that was the flight today. Baltimore Municipal Airport to Port Washington with the Yankee Clipper. I think if you really wanna enjoy this aircraft, possibly the best way is to do like transcontinental flights. So if you have about 20 hours of spare time and your computer can handle it, go ahead. Maybe the Concorde is though a more fun aircraft to fly if you're doing transcontinental. What's the sound though? Now I'm a bit intrigued. Maybe it's just because we are here at the seaport. Could be. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna do a quick instant replay. Let's see if it works. Okay, a bit far back. Let's do 360 instead, just so you can see the landing and how it looks in a replay perspective. You can see that the flaps, they seem to be coming down, so maybe they are emulated from a replay perspective. That's cool. And the touchdown. Oh, we can see the parking brakes. That's unfortunate. Yeah, we can see it looks okay. Can't really see the effect on the water though, so that's a bit of a bummer. And now when we have the parking brake, we can see these, but okay. Yeah, it was fine. Not the best, but not the worst. But with that said, I think that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this bit of a different flight. The video was not as long as I thought, 1 hour and almost 45 minutes, but it was a lot of fun to make. So thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And sorry for the stuttering, I don't know why. I'm gonna blame the aircraft. Could also be that there's just a lot of AI, even though I have it on low setting, but oh well. But yeah, that's it. So until next time, bye bye.